So we are going to take a little bit of a different approach with this video than what I normally do and what you probably are expecting. Because one of the goals of this channel is to get you to think outside the box, outside of the normal. And if you want to be normal, well, honestly, the truth is the stats are working against you and you might as well enjoy working forever and enjoying those long commutes, having lots of stuff, but no actual quality of life. But you're going to look like everybody else, so it feels safe and you feel very, very normal. Well, I want to be different, and I think you guys want to be different. If you're watching this channel, you want to live a different life, and that means you have to think differently. So make sure you like the video if you don't want to work forever and you actually want to enjoy a better quality of life. That's a good reason to like the video. And that is what this channel is trying to do in the end, to show you a different path that takes you away from all the BS that we have to deal with and break free from that 99%. So of course, subscribe if you want more content like that, if that's what you're looking for. Now, if you choose to look at things from a different angle and open your mind just a little bit, won't take a lot, just a little bit, you can see possibilities start to pop up everywhere in your life. And that's what all these videos are designed to do. So keep that in mind as we work through this video today. Keep that in mind. Open up that mind a little bit and see what the possibilities are. So how do you 10x your income? Now, don't worry. I know this channel is about financial freedom and early retirement. We're going to get to that here. It is coming, guys. Just hang tight for a little bit. But we have to get kind of these concepts down and out of the way first, so that way it all makes sense. So the first way is to make 10 times more money than you make right now. Now, to be honest, that's not easy at all and not even likely. And I would be selling you fool's gold if I said that I have this can't miss way that you can just 10x your income. You know, you make $100,000 now, you're going to make $1 million by the end of this year with this can't miss way. That's complete fool's gold. And that's not what I'm here to do. I want to give you a real tangible solution. Now, I'm not saying that's impossible. It is possible, but you would probably need to start a business, go all in, work, 20 hours a day, every single day. Obviously, have a few things break your way, make virtually no mistakes, and maybe it happens, but it probably still wouldn't happen in the end. Now, I think you would eventually get there, especially if you worked at it that hard. You would eventually get there, but it's years away. And the only reason I say that is probably what would happen is because the only failed entrepreneur is one that quit or didn't change, learn, and grow as they went and continue to expand and change their business as they went on. Those are the only failed entrepreneurs, are the ones that quit in the end. But for the purpose of this video, I said in 2025. So how do you get there in 2025? By using this trick called arbitrage. So what is arbitrage exactly? And I basically just pulled this definition here right off investing.com. Arbitrage is the simultaneous purchase of an asset of the same or similar asset in different markets in order to profit from the tiny difference in the asset's listed price. So what the heck does that have to do with my income 10xing, Luke? I mean, that makes no sense and that wasn't helpful at all. Well, it is because if you use the concept of arbitraging your income that is paid in US dollars to live a US lifestyle, and then use that same income to pay to live in a significantly lower cost country, your income in that lower cost country could give you a lifestyle that is the same as 10 times the income and lifestyle here in the US. That's the arbitrage that I'm talking about there. You're not buying an asset, you're using your income that in US dollars buys you, basically one way of life, right? Whatever your income is, it's buying you that current way of life. Well, if you go over to another country, you can live like a king on that income. That income takes you from, let's say, middle class to very, very much in the upper class in a lot of other countries, or it takes you from lower class over here in the US to firmly in the upper middle class in a different country. It basically 10x's your income without you having to do anything except for actually move. And that is exactly what we teach in the Blacklist Financial Freedom Program that we'll talk about here in a little bit later, where I'm actually going to go through this entire process in real time in 2025 for those that are in the process and in the Blacklist and going to follow along. But that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you exactly how to arbitrage your income to live like a king in a different country. And I'm physically going to do it in real time for the folks over there. But let me give you a few examples right here to kind of illustrate the concept with real data. Now, the real median income in Thailand is around $2,900 a year. Now, I understand that can fluctuate a little bit depending upon what site you use and all that sort of stuff, but that is a crazy number, $2,900 in a year. And the median income here in the US is closer to $50,000 a year. That means your income in the US when you live in Thailand is actually worth 17 times more. So it's more than 10x is your income to a 17x of what you can afford to do and live in Thailand versus what you can afford and live to do here in the US. Now, before I get started, I know I hear objections all the time. We talk about don't look for what ifs and hey, that can't be true or that won't work in my situation. We're always talking about working on how can I, but I do agree. There is some poverty there in rural areas that we don't have here. Yes, we have poverty here. I'm not saying we don't, but it's not like it is over in a country like Thailand that basically that rural areas that are really, really poor, they drag that number down so low. But even if my income doesn't bring me a true 17x in terms of lifestyle, I don't think you can argue that it's still not a 5x, 8x, maybe even that 10x that we're talking about from here to live that same exact lifestyle over in a place like Thailand. We have experts in the Blacklist living on around $1,000 per month, and they live in a great middle-class lifestyle right there in Bangkok, for example, which is a wonderful, massive city with all the modern conveniences of life right here in the US. You're not missing out on anything living there. So my question to you guys is, can you live anywhere in the US on $1,000 per month, much less in the biggest and best cities in the US? And I'm being honest with you guys, there is no chance that you can do that. I'm not saying that there aren't areas in the US where maybe you could live on that, especially if you set up things properly in a certain way. But living in some of the best cities here in the US, regardless of what city, what state you want to pull it from, you pull it, put it down there. There's probably no chance you can live there on that little amount of money. Heck, I mean, just look at the average car payment in the US just for a car is approaching $1,000 a month just simply for a car, and you need a car in the vast majority of cities here in the US. Now, I hear you guys already with the other objection, and I understand completely that unless you work remotely, this doesn't seem feasible for you right now. I would agree completely. You can't take advantage of it right now. However, change the way you think just a little bit. It doesn't mean you cannot take advantage of it much faster than you thought possible by using it in your retirement planning instead. So let's talk about that next. So how does this work in retirement? Now look, I'm just giving you guys the real truth here. Many of you are not able to retire right now, and you may not be able to retire at all, if ever. The math just isn't mathing, and the idea of coming up with $1 to $3 million is just too much. Or maybe you're just younger and you don't want to slave away your youth in an office and commute every day and all the other normal trappings that the vast majority of us all end up living. You don't want to do that until you're 65. You want something different all the way around. You want to retire in 5 years from now, 3 years from now, whatever the number is. You don't want that future. And unfortunately, some people see no other way to actually be able to retire at all. But if you arbitrage your retirement, it lowers the amount needed to retire by moving overseas in the first place. Although the math may not be mathing right now, if your plan in retirement shows a much lower number because you're arbitraging your American assets overseas, all of a sudden retirement becomes a possibility. So basically, instead of needing, let's just say you need $5,000 a month to live on, you may only need $1,500 a month because your dollar goes much further elsewhere. And you don't have to go to Thailand. There's tons of places all over the world that this can happen to that have healthcare that's just as good, just as nice, the facilities, amenities, everything else that we have right here in the US. When you do something like that, basically you have your expenses where right now in the US you need $5,000, but wherever you're choosing to go, you need $1,500. Now the amount needed to live off of goes from that $1 to $3 million that we're all kind of been taught or almost programmed to shoot for. Now all of a sudden 300,000 or 500,000 or maybe just a couple of rental properties get you to the number you need in order to be able to retire and enjoy that financial freedom. That is a significant difference. And you can honestly casually do it in a few years, especially some of you guys that are higher income earners, not 45 years like the traditional way of retirement is set up in order for you to do. I don't know about you, but that's exactly what I chose to do. I'm sorry, I just didn't want to wait 45 years. And now we got a lot of folks in this country who are now, they've been working for 45 years and they can't retire, or it's going to be a very sketchy retirement at best. It doesn't seem possible. And just that's why we're seeing so many older folks working retail jobs and everything else is because of that. Now, our system is designed to get you there in as little as 1 year, but for those that implement the changes, it shouldn't take any longer than 5 years. Again, if you come in and you play the what if game and you don't actually do the system, it's not going to work. But for those that actually do it, that's the timelines that we repeatedly see success stories on. So if yourself 5 years ago would have started, you would be there today, and 5 years wasn't that long ago. I understand when you're younger, sometimes that feels like forever, but especially at my age, 5 years is not that long. Heck, 10 years isn't that long in order to achieve financial freedom and be able to walk away and do what you want. But the bottom line is using currency arbitrage is the fastest way to 10x your income in 2025. And the Blacklist program lays out exactly how to do that if you want access to those experts, if you want access to myself, the complete system. We lay out everything step by step for you. Plus, you get free coaching along with it, so that way we will help you step by step through the entire process. Make sure you check out the pinned comment, get those founder spots. The price will never be lower, and more importantly, they will have no monthly fees. Everything new that comes in the future, you get for free as a founder member. So make sure you check out the pinned comment, see if it's right for you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.